Welcome to Lesson 8.1, Part 3, Mini Lab, Simulate Planning Scenario, Hands-On, from SAP S/4HANA Cloud, Supply Chain, CS4CSC by KRTI. In this session, we'll bring together everything you've learned about demand planning and IBP integration. You'll perform an end-to-end exercise from forecast creation in IBP to MRP execution in S/4HANA Cloud and analyze the outcome using Fiori applications. The goal of this mini-lab is simple: to experience how integrated planning works in real time. You'll move through the forecast to execution cycle, replicate forecast data, execute MRP, and interpret coverage results. By the end, you'll not only understand the theory, you'll have walked through the system steps that make it real. Before we begin, make sure your integration setup is ready. Confirm that communication scenarios SAP 113 and 109 are active in S/4HANA Cloud. Ensure your IBP and S4 tenants are connected via CPI and that product and location master data are in sync. You'll also need access to the Fiori apps, manage PIRs, manage MRP runs, and monitor material coverage. If you're using KRTI's training sandbox, this is already pre-configured. Step 1. Maintain forecast in IBP. We'll start in the IBP Excel add-in. Open your demand planning view and locate your test product, for example, FG1001 at plant 1 to 10. Enter forecast quantities for the next 3 months, say 1,000 units per month. Save your data and activate version VR1 baseline forecast. This forecast now becomes the input for replication into S/4HANA Cloud. Step 2. Trigger forecast release. From the IBP web interface, go to Application Jobs and select the job template Send Forecast to S4 Cloud. Choose your planning version, product, and location, then execute. IBP sends the forecast to CPI for transmission to S4HANA Cloud. Monitor the job status in Data Integration Monitor. Success means your forecast is now on its way. Step 3. Monitor CPI job execution. Switch to SAP CPI via the BTP cockpit. In message monitoring, search for the iFlow Send Forecast to S4 Cloud. Ensure the job shows as completed. If you encounter any errors, check user authorization, endpoint URLs, or key figure mappings. A successful run indicates that your forecast data has reached the S/4HANA Cloud system. Step 4. Validate PIR creation. Now move to S/4HANA Cloud. Open Manage Planned Independent Requirements, F3442. Filter by product, FG1001 and plant 1010. You should now see the forecast quantities you entered in IBP. These are your PIRs. Confirm that the planning version and timestamp match your IBP release. Step 5. Review planning details. Open one of the PIR entries. Check the assigned planning strategy, for instance, 40 for planning with final assembly. Verify that the MRP type, lot size, and planning horizon are correct. This ensures that master data and integration parameters are consistent across both systems. Step 6. Execute MRP run. Launch the Manage MRP Runs F3459 app. Choose your plant and material, select MRP Live, and run immediately. MRP will evaluate stock, demand, and lead times to propose supply elements. Once complete, review the MRP log to confirm successful planning. This step translates forecasted demand into actionable supply proposals. Step 7. Check MRP results. Next, open Monitor Material Coverage, F3458. You should now see supply elements, planned orders, purchase requisitions, or stock transfers, created to fulfill demand. Click into the coverage chart and review exception messages such as reschedule or shortage alerts. This visual validation confirms your end-to-end process worked as expected. Step 8. Review in Stock Requirements List. Now open Stock/Requirements List F3373. Here, you'll see demand elements like PIRs on the left and supply elements like planned orders on the right. The net requirement should ideally be 0, meaning the system has balanced supply with demand. Any discrepancy reveals configuration gaps or lead time issues to investigate. Step 9. Analyze results in Analytics tile. Switch to Inventory Management Overview, F2991. Select the KPI Demand Fulfillment Rate. Compare the forecasted versus supplied quantities. If your MRP created the right proposals, you'll see a near 100% fulfillment. For deeper insight, use custom analytical queries, F338, to visualize the demand-supply curve. Step 10. Backflow of actuals to IBP. Once goods movement and sales orders are processed in S/4HANA Cloud, those actuals are sent back to IBP. This uses the CPI iFlow send actuals to IBP. IBP planners can then compare forecast versus actuals in demand planning view and adjust future forecasts accordingly. This continuous loop keeps planning data synchronized and accurate. Data validation points. After running the lab, validate key checkpoints. Ensure PIR quantities match IBP forecast quantities. Verify MRP created the correct supply elements. Confirm that coverage shows no shortages. Document your observations. These screenshots and notes are critical for both learning and certification review. Common lab issues and fixes. If PIRs fail to appear, check CPI message logs for mapping or authorization issues. If MRP fails, confirm the planning file entry for the material exists. If coverage reports shortages, adjust lead times or lot sizes. And if quantities mismatch, confirm that units of measure are consistent between IBP and S/4HANA. Interpretation of lab output. Your successful lab should demonstrate this flow. Forecast data from IBP creates PIRs in S4, MRP runs generate supply proposals, and coverage confirms fulfillment. This full loop represents SAP's plan to produce foundation, exactly the scenario tested in the SAP CS4CSC certification exam. Business scenario context. In real-world operations, this is a weekly or even daily process for supply planners. IBP forecasts align with sales expectations, while S4 Cloud executes the plan at plant level. Integrated planning ensures every production and procurement decision aligns with actual business demand, eliminating inefficiencies. You've experienced the complete forecast to execution cycle in SAP Cloud. You configured integration, executed planning, and validated output, all key consulting skills. Remember, clean master data, proper time profiles, and validation discipline ensure accurate plans and successful implementations. That concludes your hands-on mini lab for demand planning integration. You've learned how data flows from IBP to S4, how MRP interprets demand, and how to validate your planning results through analytics. In the next lesson, we'll explore forecast consumption logic, where system intelligence determines how forecasts interact with real customer orders. KRTI Edu: learn, practice, certify, succeed.